Hi, Mark Power here again, your stuttering specialist. Today I want to talk about some things that won't help your stuttering. I've heard these from many people a lot of times, and they just don't do any good. But a lot of times family members suggest this, sometimes even speech therapists will suggest these that haven't had the training in stuttering that they need. And I don't think these things will do any harm, but they certainly won't help you talk without stuttering or resolve your stuttering problem. So let me start with probably the most popular people say is what I've been told, and I try this all the time, is take a deep breath before you speak. And they also say that in order to help stuttering, my therapist or family member told me that it has to do with breathing. Well, breathing really has nothing to do with controlling stuttering. And if you do take a deep breath before you say something, you learn to do that each time you talk. I've had people come to me and they sound like this. Well, my name is Mark, and I've come to you to get some help. And they maybe don't stutter a whole lot, but this is how they sound. Now, in some cases, if they do manage to talk like this, they're doing some things that may reduce their stuttering. This taking a deep breath at the beginning is a distracting type thing. Also, you notice when I did say things, I was only able to say a short phrase, which is a good technique to help with your stuttering. But taking the deep breath really doesn't help at all. The danger is if somebody takes a deep breath and thinks it helps their stuttering, and then tries taking a breath before every sentence or every phrase, they may sound awfully unnatural, and it's not really good for them to overreact with their breathing like that. That can cause other problems. Another piece of advice that people tell me that they've heard and they've tried is just slow down and think about what you want to say. Now, it sounds logical. All you need to do is slow down and think about what you want to say. This may affect stuttering and may reduce stuttering if it's implemented properly. The problem is you can't just slow down when you think you're going to stutter because it's too late. You need to learn a way of speaking that has some components of slower speaking. And to think about what you want to say, that's also something that will, in certain conditions, help with your stuttering. But you need to do that before you stutter. As a matter of fact, when you plan what you're going to say, you have a much better chance of success. So most people use these ideas when they're already into a stuttering block, and then it's too late. Slow down, they're already blocking and talking the way they talk. And thinking about what they want to say, that's the last thing they can do when they're trying to get some words out. Even if they do try this after the stuttering block, that may help repetition. It's very similar to what Van Riper called cancellation, where after a stuttering block, you pause and then say it over again in an easier stuttering way. That may reduce stuttering, but the key is, in order to resolve your stuttering problem, you have to learn and develop a technique that incorporates these concepts and do it consistently before you start stuttering. So you're talking in a different way, and that replaces your stuttering. The brain actually doesn't stutter. Very similar to singing. When you're singing, you're doing something really different from talking. You probably notice that when you sing, you don't stutter, and that's why, because your brain is processing differently. If you could learn to replace your stuttering with the components of singing, but have it sound like normal speaking and sound natural, you'd be doing very well. Here are some other things that I've heard in the history of stuttering. They actually started out doing things like there's a little piece of skin you may notice that holds your tongue to the bottom of your mouth. It's called a frenum. Some physicians and even therapists years and years ago advised to clip that so your tongue would be free and not be held down. Well, that's an important part of your tongue, and it shouldn't be flopping around like that. So that not only didn't help your stuttering problem, but also your regular articulation was affected also. Talking into a mirror, I've heard that. The problem is you're doing that alone, and most people who stutter don't stutter when they're alone. Sure, that's fine, but there's not the anxiety of other people listening to you. And reading out loud, if you read out loud, you can do that alone, same thing. Now, you probably won't stutter when you do that. The problem is you're not changing the way you talk. You're just reading out loud in your regular way of speaking. Unless you learn a technique to change the way you talk permanently, you're going to continue stuttering. And that's really the key. And that's what I do in my treatment. I gradually show you and train you in a different way of speaking. But with this program that I have, there's something additional. You get real-time feedback of how your voice is working. So you can see how you're changing the way you talk literally. You can see it on an iPhone, and you know when you're on track and when you're off track. So you can make that permanent. And once you develop the technique, you get some practice in reading and monologue and conversation, and finally telephone conversation, until you're using this technique all day long. And that works. So basically, you can't do this alone. I stuttered for 30 years. I tried to do all of this stuff alone, and it just didn't work. I needed to have a mentor, somebody to walk me through it, somebody who knew what they were doing. So hopefully, that will give you some more information about things that won't help your stuttering. Mark Power here. Thanks for listening. Bye. Mark Power here. And if you like this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful videos like this one. Also, be sure to hit the share button and leave us a comment below so that others can benefit from it as well. I'll be recording a lot more helpful videos like this one to help you overcome your stuttering. And if you'd like to be notified, then click on the bell icon below.